Good morning from Off-Road Evolution. Today is day 4 of our Gladiator build, and today we should see some big things happening. So there was some question whether or not we'd be able to get our hands on a set of 40-inch trail grapplers for a Gladiator, but Buddy right here pulled up and looks like we're taken care of. So I've been getting a lot of questions on Wayalife.com and on our social media accounts asking why in the world are we going with the UD60. And today I'm standing here with Mel Wade from Off-Road Evolution, and you're going to give us some pros and cons as to why a UD60. So what do you think?
Well, the UD60 is a great option. The market, let's talk about the axle market. Over the last 15 years, we've been doing it quite a while. 15 years ago, you're having to have custom axles, junkyard axles, modifying this, modifying that. There's a couple of companies out there doing full custom axles. Lately, say about 7 years ago, 6 years ago, I always call it the battle of the crates. So it's kind of a commodity. So these axles companies, and Dana Spicer, who's the mothership, been around over 100 years. Every kind of axle, solid axle, not everyone, but majority of them in your car right now are Dana Spicers. From pickup trucks to Jeeps to everything. So they've been around a long time. They jumped in the game about 5 or 6 years ago, came out with their UD60. We call these 60s, they're Dana 60s. So that's kind of the name brand that everybody's been using anyway. So based off their patents from years ago. So why this is a good axle for a crate axle for a vehicle running modern vehicle running 40-inch tires. On the front they have the high clearance differentials, which is gives you that good rock crawling ability. They have big diff covers to come on right off the bat with a standard hex head nut, which is a positive for just standard tools that you're off on the trail. Big axle tubes, big C's. They run a massive U-joint on the front, so it's like a Super Duty U-joint. They have the locking hubs, massive brakes. So in the past in the JK stuff, the massive brakes were a big positive, but there's a little slight negative on it. You had to change your master cylinder. So now with the JLs, they're already running dual piston calipers on the front. We haven't had a big issue with having to change master cylinder, so we're able to run the big brakes on it and still stop. So it's been a big plus. Other benefits are you get the electric locker or even the air locker now. The electric locker, I've been kind of on the fence. Like, I don't know, I've been running about a year now. Haven't had any issues with them. I'm a big fan of ARB, love the guys out there, ARB, strong stuff. They all have pros and cons and stuff, but I think you can now get them with the ARBs. Inside the diff is where it's kind of cool. They're running the Super 60 gear, so it's a ½ inch bigger than a regular Dana 60 gear. Kind of a neat thing. Again, Dana Spicer gears inside the Dana Spicer axle. Some other benefits are you get the cast steel steering knuckles, which is out here. They got their tone rings. So the electronics on the new JLs are working great. We're not having a whole bunch of issues with turning off the car and open your door and shut, all this weird limpo mode stuff that's been so notorious over the years. Tone rings seem to work with the new later model JLs and even the JKs. I didn't play around on much on the JKs, so the JLs was kind of a new opportunity. I was like, hey, let's check out this other stuff that's out here. And the availability to be able to get them within 2 days. So it really helped us as a builder shop to be able to talk to everybody. We offer everybody's axle. So if you want something fully custom, this probably wouldn't be the axle for you. We want to change caster and change pinion angle and kind of do a custom build, 300M shafts and all kind of yada, yada, yada. We're talking lead times of up to 12 weeks or 6 to 12 weeks usually. And, kind of goes up. That's a different kind of build. If we're talking 40-inch tires, go hit all your trails locally around and all that stuff, there's a couple of options in this price point. This one just seems to be working really well and customers are actually asking for it.
Are there any cons that you would point out right away, or things that you would want to modify on a standard UD60?
Yeah, there's a couple things, and some of it would be basic stuff of some of the welds. So this is a production axle. The axle brackets on are massive. They've actually had, I've only been dealing with them the last couple of years. They had a couple of issues in the beginning with track bar mounts breaking off and stuff like that they were mounting ram assist to and stuff that wasn't really designed for it. Actually, since then, they've been double plating it and kind of corrected all that. The brackets are all massively thick. I think they're 1/4-inch plate. Me as a fabricator, I like to wrap the corners on everything, so I would probably take 20 minutes or so and sand and wrap the corners on all bracketry. We modify the bracketry most of the time, so half the brackets we get on these cars, on these axles, whatever brand we're putting in, we end up spending hours of cutting and grinding to get the brackets off because we're running custom brackets on it. On the rear, we run a low pinion 60 on the UD60s. Instead of a high pinion in the back, which actually operates on the wrong side of the gear, it's trying to split the case apart. So it's a low pinion, which is very, very strong. Haven't seen a whole bunch of failures on the low pinions at all on the 60s. It's way stronger than the Dana 44 in the back on the low pinion. On the front, they took it, it's reverse rotation high pinion, which actually operates on the correct side also, so the front ends up being really strong too. This is the UD60 we chose to go on this one, the UD60's front and rear. It's a full float. You want to stay away from semi-float stuff, guys. It's kind of it's a waste of money in my opinion. You want to, if you're going to upgrade your rear axle, go to a full float. You have 2 wheel bearings in here holding the vehicle up. All your axle does at that point is torsion load. So I've been very, very happy with it. My wife's Jeep, we bolted them right in, and we've been running great, without having any issues whatsoever. Also did them on the OG40, bolted them right in, not a problem.
It's fast. We literally just dropped it off earlier this morning. Right now it's 10:45 and it's already back and being installed. Crazy fast. installing ourselves a Tazer. We have the new Tazer Mini. I didn't actually do an update on it yet though, but I think this would be enough to at least get things going. We got to turn off things like the FAD and address some of the other issues that would be a problem with like 538 gears and 40-inch tires. I think there's a couple other things we need to turn. Oh, the power steering. We need to turn off our electric power steering as well. All of that should be able to be done with the Tazer. I gotta see if I can't remember how to do this. I know I need to be on the music control settings. So you can see I'm mirroring the system right now. Very perfect. All right, I just set the tire size down, working on the gear ratio. We have 538, so I'm almost there. 538. Okay. I think I got the power steering pump turned off. Wait, hang on, it's rebooting. I got rid of FAD. I got rid of the lockers. I think we're okay.
Don't start it.
It's quite the workout, but in order to bleed the system, I'm gonna have to turn the steering wheel back and forth, back and forth. So we get, I think, like 4 quarts of the stuff in there. It really is amazing. I mean, Mel and his guys, they worked wonders. Ricky, I mean, he's been working on this thing all week long. It's Friday and it literally is ready to roll. It's fantastic. Speechless, really.